Welcome to the public AI for You Cafe on April 8th. Today, the title is AI for You and ICT 49 call. We are waiting until the participants are coming in. I hope you're all well. Great you're here. The speakers are today Patrick Gatelier. Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
From Thales, and Terry Nagelen from Orange. And hi, Terry. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Great. I hear you, I see you. So just a few minutes more before we start. I also introduce myself. I'm your moderator and cafe manager. My name is Carmen McWilliams from Grassroots Arts. I'm partner in the AI for You project, and I run this cafe. Please take notice that the session will be recorded. And from tomorrow on, you find the link for the recording on the AI platform. And also there's a public video archive, and we will have a new AI for You YouTube channel. So if you go on YouTube and you just look for AI for You, from tomorrow on, you will find this recording. And again, no confidential information shall be shared in this cafe session. And just wants to remind you, until everybody's there, what is the AI Cafe? It is a public space and offers a series of live web sessions on AI to gain insight into the European AI scene, share knowledge and experiences, and meet stakeholders from various areas of AI research. Okay, so I see we have now 151 participants and more. People are still entering the meeting room. Patrick and Terry will make their presentation. This is interactive, which means you as participant can ask questions. And how can you do it? There is a text chat. It's also a chat called questions chat on your right side in the panel. You can type in your questions, and as soon Patrick and Terry are ready after the presentation, I will read these questions and they will answer these questions. We have, of course, a time limit, like 5:15. We have to slowly close down this live session, but until then, feel welcome to write in your questions. All the questions which we cannot answer will be answered afterwards as we record them. We have your questions, and you can also send me questions if you have some more after the cafe, and I will forward them to the speakers. So this is all the information you may need. Again, welcome Patrick and Terry. I will now give you the moderator role. I will hand over to Patrick now, the moderator. Yes. And I think you, Patrick, can better introduce yourself. So try to share. Yes, I see your screen. Great. I see it.
Yes. Good afternoon to each of you. I'm just trying to display correctly the screen.
Take your time. I see it well.
Okay. Okay, so I think it's better like that. So as was said, I am Patrick Gatelier. I'm the coordinator of the AI for EU project, for those who do not already know me. And I am from Thales, Research and Innovation Department. I will do this presentation with Thierry Nagelin from Orange, who is the product owner in charge of the platform functionalities and development. So maybe we shall start. We are now 184, so I will start, and the other will join us very soon, if any. What I will do is a short presentation, about 30 to 40 minutes, and then we will leave as much time as possible for questions. And this presentation will be provided to all of you at the end of this session, okay, with additional way to dialogue with us. I will explain that at the end of the presentation. Maybe just one last thing. Yes, okay. So the agenda for today, a short introduction, and then we'll talk of the platform, its scope, its architecture. We'll have a specific focus on the experiment part, and this will be Thierry part of the presentation. Then I will give you information about the platform development roadmap, and then some explanation about how to extend the platform, how to provide other functionalities to the platform, and then the final information about how to dialogue with us. And it will be the time for questions.
I have a question, Patrick, right there. I see everything of your presentation now. I see the main screen. I see on the right side another, and I see the menu. Do you want this? I mean, I do see all the slides in the menu.
No. So it's the wrong display. So is this display?
Better.
Thank you for that, Carmen. So about the context of this web cafe, what we have had many questions since a few weeks and months about what the platform proposes, how it proposes it, what are the services provided, is there an API, what is our development roadmap, what is the architecture. So the purpose of this web cafe is to provide information about these various issues. It is not an overall presentation of the platform from a general standpoint. It is really a presentation done to help you to understand what we are providing. Of course, we are in the context of a project which started 1 year ago and whose call for proposal was done 2.5 years ago. And this is a very long time, 2.5 years, in the world of AI. So this is why we will present you what we propose, what we are doing. And of course, we understand that with all this change which have been happening in 2 years and a half, it may be slightly different than what we should propose today. Just to end this introduction, while doing this presentation, it occurred to me that maybe you may wish to have a more technical session with the technical leaders of various parts of the platform. At the moment, there is only me and Thierry, the product owner. If there was a need for that, we could organize a more technical session. This is an eventuality. This is why I say eventually. We will give you a way to ask us direct questions after the session, and if we may have a discussion about it to understand exactly what this would mean, what you would like to have as information. So it's just an eventuality at the moment. Okay. So the scope of the platform and its architecture. As I said, the initial purpose of the AI4EU platform, or as I started to mention it, into the ICT 26 call was to establish a link between the research and the business community and to set up a platform which would allow the AI results not only of the European research, but also of the European research, usable results in ITRL to be used by the business community. And this platform is made up in a way to bring together communities, or to try to bring together communities, to start to bring together communities, and to provide them with common services. So this is really the whole orientation of the platform, and this is our goal into the AI4EU project. In various presentations made before of AI4EU of the project, we have shown that there is many work package, not only the platform, into the AI4EU project. So this project is dedicated to doing many things, and the platform part, while very important, is one part of this project. I will talk only on the platform today, but we have to remember that within this project, it is one of the different goals, one of the different objectives to reach. Okay. More recently, and I would say, let's say since last September, initially, during the first ICT 48 call, there has been an additional purpose expected from the platform, which was to support research, and to support research in all TRL, even more basic research, more initial research, TRL 3, 4, 5, etc. This was not forecasted at all, and therefore it is not in our roadmap. In our roadmap, we have to bring research together with the business community. For this, we have a dedicated research work package. We have a dedicated pilot work package, bringing together large organizations and research laboratories. We have other things, but we are not supposed to support whole research and basic research, as this means adding specific tools, specific services to it. Fortunately, the ICT 48 project will address the issue of the research community, and within them, not only within this one, but we are Thales and the AI4EU, many AI4EU members participating to the Human AI Net, and the Human AI Net and DFKI have said in different time that they will take in charge adding services and functionalities to support the research community, and we are very happy with that. And so it will be done by collaborative project, not directly by the AI4EU project, this research support. And of course, at the end of this platform, I will give you example and suggestion at the end of this presentation, excuse me, I will give you some suggestion about what was asked, what was said, and what are the direction to extend the platform. Okay, so now about the platform itself. This is a very, very high level view of what is expected, and it has not changed what is expected from the AI4EU project into the platform. In blue, you can see the various services we intend to expose. Some of them are already exposed. Some of them are being set up currently. And these are all services which you access to get some result, some element, either information or resources or doing experiment. I will explain that later on. In the bottom of the schema, you see the function layer. All these functions are internal functions of the platform. They are not exposed, and I will explain them a bit later why. So this is really to show you a very global view of the expected services, and really this is where we are focusing now. Okay, so you can see various services about what we call the community issue. I don't know if you see my my mouse, Carmen. Is my mouse visible when I move it?
It's visible. I see it. Okay. You're moving it up and down to web access.
Fine, fine, thank you. So these are really the login functionalities, the community functionalities. There is a strong search capability which we are developing. Market brokerage, it's not yet implementing, and it goes with matchmaking, which is not yet implemented. And then there is the whole publishing process in various formats for the publishing element, the published element. And the studio part and the playground resource are the part of the experiment. I will come on it later on, just to quickly explain this schema. Okay. After that, of course, we will accept some external services connecting to it. I will talk about that. And we intend to allow some upscale processing with the help of various large computing centers in Europe. This is external, completely external to the platform at the moment. Okay. So a more not necessarily so readable, but a different view of the architecture is this layered view, coming from internet and going through the various layers. And really for this, while we have, of course, a technical architecture for security and single sign-on, and we intend to use single sign-on and what we call the identity management to allow to access more than one platform. Then through it, you access the Drupal part of the platform. The platform is built for the front end on Drupal system. And then the internal content, the internal function we were talking about, which are the back office, if you wish. Okay. So again, you see the search, the community discussion, the open call process is not yet open. The news and the event, the AI resources, the publication process with different catalog and the backend database. The search part is a search where we are searching various resources, both on internet, on the platform, and later on external platforms. This is why there is more than one Elasticsearch engine. And we are bringing all this together within a dedicated processing for search driven by semantic graph. And then the experimental part, I will come to it later on. And the lower part, and eventually Thierry will talk a little bit of this. This is really the infrastructure implementation. So this is the way the platform is done. And as you can see, there is no API exposed. And it is on purpose. In fact, there will be one for the search. I will talk about it. But at the moment, every activity we expose in the platform are exposed through services. So this is very quickly the description of the platform architecture. And when we look at this, we can have a quick list of the service we are providing or we will be providing within the platform. So initially, as some of you may know, we in last September provided the community services, the people directory, the profiles, the preference, and the discussion and goal-oriented groups. I will talk later on the domains, which is something we may be providing and which is also something you may be providing as an add-on to the platform. It is not something we have foreseen initially, but now we see that there is a need for it. Okay, so I will explain it a little bit more in a slide to come. Second part, the resource publication and repository service. The platform is supposed to become, should become, willing to become a large repository place for AI components, bricks, and resources in general. When you go to the platform, this resource publication and repository service is up and live since about 1 month, and it is a general purpose repository. It allows SMEs, research organizations to publish resources which are ready to use or almost ready to use from SMEs, from companies, from business, from whoever wish to use it. And therefore, this is why we do not impose that these tools have a dedicated interface, a dedicated way to talk together. They can have any forms. Of course, these resources, as you probably have seen, are today in 4 categories, more or less: data sets, bricks, Jupyter notebooks, and models, I guess, by memory. There may be some other format provided, some other kind of resources provided. You just have to ask and we would add them, probably. But this resource publication system is mostly a publishing system. And the publishing is important is done in such a way that these resources can be very quickly scanned for what you are looking for with a lot of information. The possibility to download a resource or to use it into the experimentation part. I will come to that. Thierry will come to that. And the possibility which is coming to rate a resource and to showcase a resource. So this is it. And then we have the experimentation services, mostly the sandbox and the composition services. We have the search services and the smart search system, which will be there probably now. We are a bit late. There is some various difficulties to solve, but it will be there in 1 month, 1 month and a half. I will show you the roadmap later on. And then there is a way to interoperate with other external platforms. So when we look at the service provided by the platform within the AI4EU project, this is the list, and there shouldn't be normally other services forecasted. One word about what I said in this slide, what I said about domains and verticals. We understand that at some point, rather soon, the platform will be dealing with many different topics in many different verticals, like health, like agriculture, like space, fashion, etc. And it may become difficult to see what you are looking for. And so we have this intent to allow a kind of filter system to be implemented into the platform, so that if in your preferences you say you are only interested by health, you will have a specifically filtered view user interface of the platform. Here we are showing an health interface. This would be the first one which we would be providing, and then you will be only you will have a kind of specialized platform for your topic. Of course, we will always be able to go back to the general view. So why do I insist on this? It is because again, I will say it at the end of the presentation, but I can say it now. It is something that you can target in your proposal to do. And I assume, I understand that at least one of the NOE is doing something in this direction. It is, if I am not mistaken, of course, I'm talking about, I'm not swearing that, but this is what I understood. It is the AI for Media project, which will have probably some very dedicated services for media or some very dedicated resources for media within the platform. So this is the what we call the vertical view, the vertical domains. And then talking about interoperability, we intend to make this platform interoperable with various other platforms. Some are partners within this project, some others are not partners, but we have had discussion with them. And they would be very happy, and we would be very happy also, like the European Language Grid platform, for example. And when talking about interoperability, last January in Venice, the various participants, internal and external to AI4EU, identified these 5 different sectors where there can be interoperability by sharing a single sign-on and a profile, by allowing to search the external platform or allowing the external platform to search our platform. It will not be a direct search, but it will be to access index in both cases, which will reflect the current status of the platform to periodically access this index from minutes, hours, or days, depending on the speed of change of the platform or the target. There is the cataloging of resources internally and externally, so in external platform. There is a way to exchange components, like Docker components, for example, which could be, after cataloging them, they could be called from the external platform and used in the AI4EU platform, or eventually the opposite. And there is a possibility, but this is really the most complex one, and we cannot probably be sure that it will work in all cases, to execute remote services on platform. So this will probably are the direction on which we are working about interoperability, and interoperability will be the functionalities we will provide after all the other development I have mentioned in a few months this year. Then I will ask Thierry to speak and Carmen to give to Thierry the presentation, or ask Thierry to speak, and I will move the slide for Thierry.
Yes, Thierry, I think you can just talk if you click on microphone.
Yeah, it's okay. Thanks, Patrick. So I will introduce what we expect to deliver for experiment services. So Patrick, if you can go to the next slide, please. So you have on the left side of the slide what we call an AI pipeline. This is a classical AI chain for a chatbot like Alexa. The point is that each block could be itself processed from different AI components. So the main objective we have with this experiment facilities in the platform AI4EU platform, it's to allow the integration of innovative components in the simpler way. So it's really to support users, developers to publish easily their component and to provide a way to describe how their component could be plugged with other components to build this AI pipeline. If you can go to next slide, Patrick. So to achieve this objective, we decided to use the Acumos project, which is an open source project under the Linux Foundation control, because in this project we were aware that there is an existing design studio which could easily allow capabilities to drag and drop components and to link them together, like you can find now in some of the AI environment from GAFAM, but also in tools like NIME. And it was really a way to simplify access to a complex AI pipeline, especially for SMEs, startups, and so on, to quickly build an AI component to be integrated in some services they can sell directly to their market and their customers. So to achieve that, in Acumos, they've defined two, I would say, basic rules: that a component, a tool, is to be set up in a container, and on top of this container, you have to provide a protobuf format, which is now also in open source. It was proposed by Google, mainly used by Google for their own services, but it's an open source format now. It's not very complex, and it allows to store and interchange all kinds of structured information. So it's really message oriented. And the interesting point is that it do not need lots of work to put this format on top of the container itself. So these two elements together allow the drag and drop composition for the AI pipeline. So we expect that it will really facilitate the adoption of many things. Next slide, Patrick. So this sandbox will be accessible through the platform experiment menu. So when you are logged in the platform, you will find this experiment menu. And end of May, we expect to propose that in the next intermediate release. This Acumos instance is only accessible through the AI4EU platform for consistency, for security, and if you are not logged, you cannot access this platform, of course. So this is not an easy environment also, depending on your profile. Typically, if you are more business oriented or maybe not fully aware of what you could achieve with AI and so on, it could be a very complex environment. So to assume that you have the right level of experience and you will not be lost with the Acumos environment, we have decided to use the second level of login, so to access the Acumos instance of AI4EU platform. But we provide also in this platform guidelines and example, typically how to set up the protobuf format on your containers, and how you will have also to publish this component in the right format in the catalog directly. Next slide, Patrick, please. So you can see on the right side the process to build your container and to set up the protobuf format. Then you can upload your AI resource in Acumos local catalog. So this is a technical validation that everything is okay and the users can use correctly your component. Will be aware of what kind of data the component will provide and what kind of data in input it can ingest. And when you compose your component, you can also save your AI pipeline directly in the Acumos local catalog for your own purpose, because you are working for your service and so on. But if you want also, you can share it with other users, typically coming back on the first picture. If you are working on natural language understanding, you will add a new deep learning model like DistillBERT, for example, and you want to propose this bundle for everybody, you can do it directly in this environment. Next slide, please, Patrick. So here you have a screenshot of what could be, what will be the design studio of Acumo Sandbox in AI4U platform. So when you have import your AI resources in this catalog, you can go to the design studio, select your component, and create your pipeline. If you have different components for the same role, so I was speaking about DistillBERT, but you can have other BERT family neural networks, and you can test them, plug them together, maybe add other tools at the end or at the beginning of the pipeline, and you can save and try the different bundle for your own purpose. The interesting point also is that you can store and export your results as you wish. So you have not to run everything in this Acumo Sandbox. If you want, then test it and use it directly in your own environment, which could be a private public cloud, in a personal computer and so on. You can also export the results of the composition directly in your environment. So this is what we expect to deliver end of May for this Acumo Sandbox and experiment facility in AI4U platform. Patrick, I think you can.
Thank you, Thierry. Many thanks for this. So I will continue. And sorry, excuse me. And then a short glimpse of the AI4U roadmap. This is a roadmap since the first version, what we call V0 last September. And of course, as you can see, this has been delivered. The website, the network, the community feature, the news and the initial search capabilities. Here on the Web Cafe, the catalog services and the publication services, in fact. More than the catalog services. The Ethic Observatory, which will be probably redesigned at some point, and the possibility for organization to create to be registered into the platform, which was not forecasted initially. Now, if we look at the coming version, the roadmap here finish at what we call the V1.2. In July, and after that we will have some complements, but this is a detailed part of the roadmap. We are going to provide these experiment services Thierry was talking of, much more a much richer content moderation, allowing to do content moderation and to do rating of multiple contents. Analytics for the platform to understand who use it, etc., etc. A new user interface. The current user interface is having some limitation. We are meeting with this first version, so we will have a new user interface and a small support for the open call, which are already managed by Fundingbox, one of our partners, Fundingbox. Then into the next version in July, we intend to provide this full semantic search, the interoperability with the external platform, and various dedicated space which were asked later on, gender diversity and AI-related gender diversity space, the space for the national contact point. You know that we have in each European country a contact point for AI4U in charge of helping us to disseminate AI4U and get have the connection with the local organization, local people. and we will provide them for each country with a dedicated space for them to show what they are doing in AI and to contribute on it. And then we will have also what we call the open call challenge. The open call will be made up of call for challenge and call for solutions to this challenge. And so there will be a support for that into the July version. This is for the short-term roadmap. In the before October 2020, we will also add a new interface for the discussion section, which is a bit limited today. Various new interface for the community news, what we call the user dashboard, which will allow each user to have a dashboard for what interests him into the platform, and a dedicated education space. And of course, there will be other development implemented, probably by third party. We already talked about the research community. I already talked about the user research community support. And there will be, of course, interconnection with the coming project, both 48 and 49, but this is not, this is a bit early to talk about that, as you can understand. So now, how to extend the platform, how to provide new services, new resources on the platform. As I said before, there has been many times where we were asked, do you have an API for your platform? Are you showing an API to allow us to do things into your platform? So, no, there is not. And there is various reasons for that. First of all, providing an API is not something very clear. The word API has many different meanings for different people. And in a recent meeting with other AI organizations, we clearly understood that there is two main meanings for API. One which is a meaning for industrial people, industrial production platform, if we can say so, which is the one we understand, which is providing access to internal function of the platform. And another meaning for the research community, which is allowing in research context to add things into the platform by interconnecting with it. So today, we do not have any internal function which require to be exposed into the AI platform. All the internal functions have a correspondence in services we are providing. So we do not see a need for having an API, understanding that, of course, I will give you a counter example a little bit later and why we do not do that. The exception to that are experiments. We can imagine, understand that container and protobuf is a way of, we could call that an API, at least it is a specification for being compatible with the system. And the third specification will also provide a way to be used. It will not exactly be an API either. It will be more a specification on how to provide indexes and semantics for the platform, or how to use what the platform is indexing with its own semantic. Of course, this doesn't prevent you to specify an API to be implemented into the platform if you believe that you should provide a function with an API or a mechanism, a service with an API. It's just that it was not forecasted into this project. Let me give you two examples. We have these people and preference services, and sometimes user of the platform say that these people and preference services is not very useful. What we believe is that over time, while adding more and more content into the platform and services, functionalities, these people and preference services will be the place where everything related to one person will be stored, in particular for the preference. And as an example, what will be dependencies between the experiment part and one person, or preferences for the experiment part for one person, would be stored into its preference, into its profile. So it will become over time something important because it will allow to share the same information within different services in the platform in a managed way, in a consistent way. Okay. Of course, today we do not offer an API or an interface towards this people service, and this is on purpose because, of course, it is very sensitive data, and we will have to see case by case how we can allow to add some capabilities for people to use the information stored in profile and preference for each person. The second example is adding a new service on the platform. This is perfectly possible, of course, perfectly feasible. You have to specify it. You have to say, I want to add these services providing this capability into the platform. And of course, it can also be an internal function with a dedicated API. But then we will have to make sure that this API is done in such a way that it is manageable, that it doesn't create a security breach, that it is in a fair way using allocation of resources, spending internal resources, and that it will preserve platform integrity. Okay, but there is no reason not to propose an additional dedicated services, either an AI dedicated services or a useful service for the AI community within your proposal. Okay. And in particular, you should probably provide a direct AI function for the community you are bringing in ICT 49. Okay. I took this sentence from our grant agreement. It really summarizes the way we are willing to be open. So it is possible, as I said, to do extension to the platform. It will be normally exposed through services, and but also through other extension. We personally expose the platform through services, but it can be other extension. The important thing is, of course, what I said, the stability and security of this extension, is the fact that they will have to be qualified and validated, and the fact, very important, that there is no specific resource, dedicated resource into the platform, and it will have to be provided by the extension provider to allow the validation of what they want to add to the platform. Okay. Just about the new service you can provide. Let me give a small, how we interpret it. Let's go back to this people function again, but from another standpoint. In the platform, of course, we do not ambition to compete with a general service like LinkedIn. Okay. However, we believe that the more the people there will be into the platform, registered with a profile and with preferences and resource and profile and preferences, the more information we will be able to provide with respect to GDPR to the AI community, instead of leaving other like LinkedIn to do it mostly for commercial purpose. And this is in fact the same for any general purpose service we could provide into the platform. And just to give you a list of what has been at various times proposed, and some of these services will be clearly implemented by different collaborative process, different collaborative projects, excuse me. GitLab, a GitLab which would allow the European community to store its research result into a European platform rather than in international one. Collaborative editing, benchmarking, challenge like Kaggle, etc., etc. Most of these, many of these will be provided by one or more, by NOEs, maybe by Human AI, as we talked about that with people from the FKI previously. Okay, so some of these are part of ICT 48, but of course you can provide, you can propose any general service again, or any AI service which would help this our European AI community to work better together. It is not just AI component to do AI composition. It is also how to have this one-stop shop view, which was asked and which we are trying to start to implement with AI4EU. Okay. So I said about the resources. There is no resources set aside in AI4EU to integrate new services. I said that, and you will have to develop the services. You cannot just say, oh, can you add these services? We have a limited number of services we have targeted to develop, and you will have to think about validation and integration resource for these new services into the platform. But there is another way you can contribute to the platform and its platform evolution. We intend to open the management and the architecture of the platform to the community, and we will do that through 4 different mechanisms. The architecture committee we want to set up, and it will probably be done by setting up a vote or some equivalent mechanism. And so you can, in your proposal, propose to be part of it, to contribute to it in various ways. More generally about the platform, in the AI4EU project, there is the creation of a high-level advisory board, which was proposed during the proposal. We believe that we should change it to an high-level advisory committee or board, whatever the name, for helping us to the definition of the overall platform goal and evolution over time. And for this also you can propose your contribution eventually. Also, what we have to do this year is to set up a foundation to ensure that the platform will be maintained after the AI4EU project finish and will be sustainable. And so you can contribute to the foundation, help us to set it up, or participate to it in various ways. And then, last thing, we intend to put all or part of the platform code in open source, and we will start working on this later on in the year, once the code is stabilized enough. And you can also wish to contribute to that and propose that into your proposal. Okay, so you may propose your participation into some of this instrument mechanism. Then what I am at the end of the presentation almost, and just before you can, it's time for question. I have created this morning this link, this channel, to allow you to ask question after this presentation. This presentation will be linked to this discussion on AI4EU. You need to be logged on the platform to be able to access this. And we will monitor this channel, and we will try to answer all your questions over time until the 17th of June. I understand it is a new limit deadline for proposal deposit. Okay, so this will be active until that time, so that we can all share information about the AI4U platform. We will also publish various deliverables, probably one about interoperability and possibly one about the architecture. It has to be revised a little bit yet, but we are trying to do that. This will also be attached to this discussion when available, and there will be a notification. So this is it for this presentation part, and I have been a bit longer than expected. So it is now time for question, and I will ask Carmen to help us with the question, if you can see them and if there is any.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. That was interesting, and we have a lot of questions. So let's try to read them. Please write them down. Don't try to get the microphone, as we have so many questions, and we can also in this way can later after the session even answer your questions, so they don't get lost. So the first question is from Bernard Stree. Can you detail the experimentation services from the platform? Who can access, under what conditions?
Please, Thierry.
Yes, so first you have to log on the AI4U platform. So you have to create your account on the AI4U platform. Then in this area, you will retrieve the experiment menu, and with the first page, we will explain what are the protobuf format, how you can build your container to publish something. And on this page, you can request the access to the Akumos environment, which is a really dedicated environment. So we envisage to ask some additional questions to be sure that you are completely aware of what kind of service you can retrieve behind this link. But we do not expect also to have a barrier for users and forbidden access for lots of users. So it just to be sure that users have the right knowledge and the right understanding of what does it mean, not to create some confusion in mind and so on. So basically, it's really open for everybody, and we do not see any concrete limitation, just a two-step validation.
Okay, thank you. And now comes the next question of Pedro Malo. Question 1. Is the reuse of Akumos for developing AI pipelines, or we could propose the integration of other tools with similar functionality, for example, KNIME, or H20AI, etc.?
I think it's fully part of the proposal you can have to propose other additional tools to achieve that. So we know the KNIME tools clearly. But it's for the moment it's open. We have just to study how we can integrate that in the whole picture of the AI4U platform, but there is no specific constraint. So you can propose, we can exchange on that.
Okay, great.
Yes, maybe I can add a word on this. Effectively, there is no obvious reason for having only one tool to experiment, and probably we can assume that with different environment, IoT environment, embedded system, etc., we will need more than one tool. So you certainly can provide it. What we simply be probably willing at some point is not to get the user lost in a myriad of tools. But of course, proposing alternative is a good thing.
Okay, thank you. And then Joachim van Schoren. In Acumos, how do you know whether one component can understand the input of a previous component?
I think it's part of what you describe in the protobuf format. So when you, the right word in the Acumos environment, when you onboard a component, you have to describe what kind of data you have as input and what kind of data you will have as output. So of course, it's part of the description of the component you have in the Acumos catalog. Twice we need this local catalog to validate that everything is clear. Of course, it's not an immediate description, so users will have to navigate through the catalog to retrieve some of the component and so on. In the next steps of the integration, we expect also to have the link between the AI4EU catalog, where you have much more element to describe your AI resource, and that you have directly the link to use this component in the Acumos environment. So you can really understand how you can use the component with other one.
Maybe I could add a word under your supervision, Thierry, because I'm not sure I'm right, but we are having different ontologies into the platform, one for the search, one for the object within the catalog, probably also, I'm not sure, one for Acumos, at least implied. We are trying to have a consistent view and to merge them. It is being done. Anyway, making sure that one component can talk with another component from a technical way is what Thierry said, and probably from a semantic way or meaning way, we should at some point possibly rely on a better description of the elements which are shared. I don't know if it's feasible very automatically. Anyway, you will have to make sure that these two components are compatible from their purpose.
It's part of the vision to have this detailed description in the AI4EU catalog, where you can add this semantic description level, and you can use that to better understand with which other component you can use the one you are looking for.
Okay. Okay, I go now to Martin Hayes. Will there be a dedicated AI4EU learning management system, like say Moodle or Canvas for AI course delivery?
Yes.
Could you? Yes.
Yes, there is a. Yes, I see the question. Will there be a dedicated AI4EU learning management system for AI course delivery? In fact, I'm not. We may have a very general response. This is being done under the supervision of our partner at Simula Research, and we are going to provide a system that they have been using, and we'll provide it in all the language of the European Union. It is, I guess, it is a learning management system, a system to create courses. Of course, again, for that probably we will get the answer more detailed, because I'm not completely sure of what I'm saying, and we will answer that on the platform. Okay.
Maybe just to complement your answer, Patrick. So, yes, in what you introduce the education space, this is a place to typically publish courses. So we are discussing at this moment with academic partners to check how we can describe this kind of courses. Of course, it's one of the area of courses. We can envisage also other courses like tutorial or this kind of things, but it's part of this education space to propose this kind of services. So we are just starting the specification, what kind of content we can have in this area. But of course, if you have some ID, some description that we can use to improve the specification we have started, it's a very good input for us.
Okay, thank you. Now I come to the question of Georg Rehm. Hi. Thanks for the presentation, he says, to you both. Question, you say that you don't have APIs, but you do have exposed services. What exactly are these exposed services from a technical point of view? Parentheses open, just to clarify, from my point of view, that's exactly what an API is. Parentheses closed.
Yeah, this is, you know, API initially, long ago, was meaning application programming interface. So we have to be careful. We do not provide any way to plug programmed piece in the platform. We expose services. What does it mean, exposing a service? If you provide, when we provide this publication mechanism, where you have to fill a set of screen, and then you get an answer, which is, okay, you can upload your resource, and fine, now it is published. It is a service, and we expose it by allowing people to use it. We show it. This is what I mean by exposing it, okay? If you have, let's take a very simple, common example. If you have on internet a website which allow you to convert a Word document to a PDF document, you send the Word document, you get back a PDF document. It is a service, and the way you expose it is by allowing to get an initial document and provide a result, throwing probably the initial document away, provide a result in PDF. Okay, so this is what we say, what we mean by exposing services.
Okay. And then here's the second question to make us busy. What's the difference between the architecture committee and the platform committee? Isn't that the same thing?
Well, no, as I tried to say, of course, none of them is set up. So we have to work on this. The architecture will be a technical committee. Okay. What is the best architecture? How do we set up this or that? Should we have this extension? How do we interconnect technically, etc., etc. The high-level committee, whatever we name it, is more how do we make this European AI on Demand platform going over the AI4EU project? How do we make it the European platform? How do we make it a success? How do we make it useful? So it's more a strategic committee.
Okay, good. Thank you. And as I say, we are having a lot of questions coming in. We are trying to answer them. Here comes Gersh Buller. Regarding single sign-in, could we use Keycloak to link to the platform as there are no APIs? Keycloak.
I do not know Keycloak. I'm very sorry.
The same for me. So if you have any element, we can study the case. So for the moment, we have a classical single sign-on when we expect to use auth mechanisms to exchange the identity with other platform. So it could be typically part of the architecture committee also to discuss this kind of issue. But again, if you have any element to study this point, I'm open for that.
Okay, So here comes Loretta and Anani from the Commission. What is the bidirectional search, question mark? Does it have a user interface, question mark? Does it use a high engineering graphical G+ individual component?
No. So what we do with this search system we are setting up is that we want to have a search mechanism which is able first to search different locations, different platforms. So with the help of Quant, we are having a dedicated AI search on internet. Okay, it's a general search like the one you can have with a general and with a search engine on internet, except that it is dedicated to AI. So the index we get back are AI-related index. The reference we get are AI-related reference. This is the first part. Then we are this search engine which is indexing the platform, all the resources in the platform, the news, the people, the discussion, the resources, the data sets, etc., etc. And for this, we will have a very rich display. I could have shown you a slide. Maybe we will show a slide where the left part of the display is the standard list for a search engine, and the right part is a dedicated view of the element of the platform on which you are pointing, so that without having to click too much, you can scan. You can see many resources with a lot of information, so that you can very quickly choose what is interesting you rather than having to spend time to search on it. So this is the search engine, and this is why we are talking about semantic search, because it is driven by what we call a semantic graph. Okay. Now, bidirectional, what does it mean? It means that we are willing to provide this search capability and this selection of resources, display of result capability with more than the AI4U platform and the result from the Quant search. And so we will allow other platforms. And for example, I saw that Georg was asking this question before. The LG platform, we talked about this already. We could reference all the elements which are into the ELG platform and say, if you want this NLP element to use for whatever it is in the ELG platform, of course. But we will reference it as an AI element if it's useful. And for this, we will provide a specification on how this platform has to list the resource it wants us to reference in our search engine, so that we just access this document, this index, periodically to reference what is into the platform. We are not going to effectively search into the platform. This is not feasible and it is intrusive. We do not want to be intrusive. So we will provide a specification for creating an index to be integrated into the AI4U index. And in the same way, we will provide probably, we have to finalize this, the equivalent for other platforms to be able to reference AI4U result, AI4U resources, saying, oh, there is this element, these resources into the AI4U platform. Eventually also in Quant, in Google, in these things for general search. So this is why we are talking it as a bidirectional standard specification for reference. It's not an API, it goes nearer to an API in some way.
Okay, yes. And here what application verticals are already covered in the AI for You platform? This comes from Antonio and Ortiz. So what application verticals are already covered?
There is no application vertical covered into the platform yet. It is a new requirement. So at the moment, you will see it when it will be under the menu, the community menu, or if you want to scan them, or maybe in your preferences. There is none. What we are expecting to do is to have at least health, space, the Earth observation more precisely, and a few other, but you cannot have a dedicated space without having someone, I mean an organization or a set of organization, a consortium, whatever, to manage it, okay? Because we, as a dedicated space, it has to be managed by people specialized in this area, as a dedicated vertical, excuse me. And so these verticals will be created when people are saying it would be nice to have a vertical about this or that topic. Let's say fashion, for example, which is a very important business topic. If we want a vertical about fashion, we need to have people from the fashion domain to say, we will manage it, we will create services for it, we will create news, resources, we will animate the vertical, we will animate the domain.
Okay, thank you. Now comes Roberto Di Bernardo. Since ICT 49 are supported to start not before the beginning of 2021, what is planned in terms of sustainability after the end of the project? How will the platform be maintained to support ICT 49 after the end of AI for You?
Well, as we say, the way to be sustainable will be to create this foundation to which the platform will be handed over. Okay, so and this foundation is supposed to last, we hope, a long time.
Okay, hopefully. Yes, and then Joachim van Schoren, is there a way to run experiments on the platform without using the Acumos platform?
We have already some other requirement in the same way, so we are studying that. So especially to allow people to use very big data sets or these kind of things. So we are not ready to deliver a solution, but it's in our scope. So again, if you have more details on what kind of experiment you want to achieve inside AI for You platform without Acumos, so I'm happy to have these details to enrich the case we have already in the scope.
Okay, so we have now, I think, 3 more questions. We're going slowly to the end of the session. As at 6 o'clock, we're going to stop. And here comes the next question. Is from Gash Bula, is there an ability to use Docker containers on your platform?
Sorry, is there
an ability to use Docker containers on your platform?
For the moment, we expect to have containers in the experiment part only. If the question is to use container in the full environment of the platform, or to add new functions, new features, new services, I think it's something we can discuss. For the moment, the platform is itself hosted in a Kubernetes environment, so we deploy very regularly some improvements on the platform to correct bugs or to deliver new features. So the container approach is directly inside the production process we have. but to have a new feature as a container to add directly in the platform. And I'm really at the platform level with lots of high-level services. I think it's something we can discuss more in details to really envisage what are the impact for that.
Okay. And now comes Nai. Sorry when I pronounce names wrong. Najib, I would say. Moala. Hi. Is AI for you provide any kind of federated AI services?
I am not sure what you are meaning by federated AI services, so maybe we can have this discussion onto the discussion link in the
Yes.
AI4U platform.
Yes, so let's go because we have so many questions. Gerard Kennedy, will submission to the open challenges have to use the Acromo services?
No, it's not required.
No.
Of course, it could
Okay.
be an advantage for selection, but it's not required. No, it's not necessary.
Okay, and here comes Pedro Malo. Will ICT49 winners projects be able to use any HPC IaaS resources from AI4U? Will ICT49 winner projects be able to use any?
Yes. I'm sorry, I was.
It's Pedro, no?
Yes, that's Pedro, and yes, we have linked to HPC resources. We also very recently decided to set up an HPC dedicated committee within AI4U, and we will publish information about that quite soon. And of course, there will be access to HPC resources from AI4U for upscaling. We have to give more information. It is something new for us too. It was not retained at the proposal time because of the scarcity of resource for computing at that time. This has changed a lot since 1 year. Okay.
Oh, and then comes Joachim van Schoren. Is there a way to upload anything without using the website? This will not work for large data sets or to upload hundreds of data sets at once. Is there?
Yeah, so this is a very good question. At the moment, the upload mechanism is limited to 1 gigabyte, I guess.
2 gigabytes.
2 gigabytes. Okay, we have increased it a little bit more. 2 gigabytes. And there is a good reason for that. We do not intend to transform the AI4U platform in a storage platform. So for larger data set, and the first data set we are going to publish in a very small number of them now, is about 4 terabytes. Okay, so we already have the issue. What we will ask people to do is to set up a sample data set when uploading resources, a data set into the platform when publishing, sorry, and then they should talk with us to see what is the best place to store the large data set. There is 2 reasons for that. The first one, of course, is to make sure that people do not start downloading terabytes of data just to see what it is. So this is why initially they would probably download the sample data set and then explain. We will talk with them eventually, or there will be a better mechanism to see if they are interested in doing more. But it is also because usually when you have very large data sets, you need very large computing resources, and it may be better to store the data set near the computing resources. So we are working on this, but there will be a way to upload very large data set, but And anyway, it will not be an upload. It will be more a disk load or something like that, because very, very large data set, we know that the bandwidth is not there for that.
Okay. And Mohammed Abdel Aziz, hi. Are all software packages on the platform open source licenses? Are open source licensed?
No, no. The answer is no.
No.
You can perfectly put on the platform a software, bricks, a component, an application, whatever, which is a commercial one, as long as the transparency rules are respected, are fulfilled, which is we do not want people to use the platform as a marketing tool, pure marketing tool, but it can be used as a way to promote products which are good products and which are well and fairly described.
Okay. Yes.
Just to complete the point, so in the AI4EU catalog, you have to describe your kind of license. So we are fully aware that there are more than 100 types of open source licenses. So we cannot also reference all of them. So it's why you have some freedom to describe more in details what kind of license you have. And of course, you can propose a commercial license. In the same way, you have different possibilities regarding the support. You can have also free support. You can have for open source tools commercial support. You can have also support online only. So there are different capabilities in the description.
Okay, so I think we're coming now to the last question. Even though we have many more, we are aware that we cannot answer all the questions today in this live chat and this live session, but as we said before, questions can be answered in the discussion group on the AI4EU platform. So now there will come another ICT 49 question, the last one from Andrea Micheli. For ICT 49, is it needed to evolve the AI4EU platform or simply contributing valuable AI resources, guidelines, and domains? Is that enough?
That's an excellent question. An excellent question for conclusion. It is not needed to evolve the AI4EU platform. And it is not needed to be into an ICT 49 project to contribute with valuable AI resources, with guidelines. Domains is different. Domain will mean that you are helping to shape and modify the platform, but you don't need either in a domain to be part of an ICT 49. You can come, and we have people coming saying it would be nice to have a domain on this topic, and we will be managing it, and we will be working with these people independently of ICT 49. So for ICT 49, you will very simply have to show that your proposal and what you are proposing to enhance the platform, to make the platform a success, to make the platform being what it should become, you have to show that your proposal is better than others, very simply. And after that, it's up to you to decide in which way you are going to be better than others.
Yes, I think this is a good conclusion. And as I say, thank you very much, and also to the speakers and to the participants. And there is a discussion group, ICT 49, on the platform, as Patrick told us before. And I hope you had a good time. It's 6 o'clock, and I will take very shortly the audio and the moderation back, because as always, we're ending up with the last slide of the cafe, because we do announce always the next. So make a little bit advertisement of our cafe. There will be next Wednesday, next cafe at 3 p.m. with Fabien Gandon, Research Director from INRIA France, and he will address linking natural and artificial intelligence on the web. So the cafe is every week and we would love when you come back. And as we know, the cafe is also part of the platform, and so feel free to become speaker and be our participants. Thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you very much, Terry. And the recording will be available on the AI4U platform and on the new AI4EU YouTube channel, which will be available from tomorrow. So there will be also the recording of this session. You can anytime see the recording, and you can also contact me anytime if you have more questions. So this will be it. Maybe you want to say last word, but else?
Yes, I want to thank all of you for listening. What we will do with the list of questions which has not been answered, I have seen many, we will collect them. We have a way to collect them, of course, with this tool, and we will put them in one single document on the platform. We will not try to answer all of them because we will not have necessarily the person who asked them, but it will be there as a reminder, and if you want to repeat the question, then we will answer it. Okay? Thank you all for participating, and have a nice end of day.
Yes, you too, and bye-bye, Thierry. Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You, everybody. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye. See you soon.
See you.
See you.